Germany's monopoly territory is home to 17 million people.
Families already struggle to pay their bills.
AGD was convicted of 91 felonies.
Really? I mean, what's next?
Greybeard Talks Solar. He is SolarWise.
Welcome to the Greybeard Talks Solar YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've got a lot to unpack and uncover today. It's been a wild week in the U.S. Trump instituted his reciprocal tariffs this past week, and it sent shockwaves through the world and specifically through the markets. As of the most recent data we had, Friday close, we had almost $6 trillion in market cap wiped out because of the news of these reciprocal tariffs. And so today, I'm going to be talking about how these reciprocal tariffs and what's going on with Trump's tariff policy is going to be affecting solar and what you can do now in preparation or planning to address that. So thank you very much for joining the show. Please like, share, and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button if you want to get more solar information. The channel airs every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific with new solar information. So stay informed, stay charged, keep shining, smash that subscribe button, and you'll get a lot more information in the weeks and months ahead. But let's get into the subject today. Let's talk about these tariffs. So Trump, now, again, for those of you that may not be aware, I am a former fiduciary financial advisor. And let me just say this right off the get-go. I am really glad I'm not still in financial services. With a market movement like we saw both on Thursday and Friday of this past week, wiping out almost $6 trillion of market cap. I would have my phones ringing off the hook. I just know I had to handhold a whole bunch of people wanting to know what they should be doing, if they should be doing anything, whether they should sell, whether they should take some money off the table. I'm just glad I'm not in that industry. But in solar, the same thing is happening. I'm getting questions, comments, having to provide information to prospective people that are interested in solar. How is this going to happen? We knew these tariffs were coming, and the market but definitely knew it was coming as well, but we didn't know to what extent that they would be implemented. And so this 10% across the board, I think, was a little bit alarming to the markets, and specifically how this is going to impact solar. Let me be very, very clear about this. Everybody in my industry, all the trade articles, Facebook groups, publications I've perused, blogs I've read, everyone agrees on the same thing, okay? These tariff moves are going to increase the cost of solar because much of solar componentry is made throughout the whole world, right? So if we're bringing that in from other parts of the world, and we have a mandated 10% tariff in place regardless of the country. Now, by the way, there was over 60 countries that Trump implemented tariffs against. And so of those 60 countries, many of them do obviously have some exposure to what we're doing here in solar. So point number one, we do expect solar pricing to increase. The good news is we don't expect that to happen immediately with one exception. Okay, so effectively, any currently held goods, solar panels, inverters, wiring, racking, batteries, any of those existing solar componentries held and owned by our current installer group, all of those pricing, all of that is the same. So that inventory has to be exhausted before these new tariffs and the pricing effect that's going to have on solar componentry takes effect. So we've got a very short window here. Here's the emphasis. Very, very short window that if you're still dragging your feet on making a solar decision now, right now would be the time to potentially implement that. Now, I had a qualifier. I said, notwithstanding one event. And that is, if everybody out there recognizes the same thing that I'm speaking about, is that you've got a limited window right now to take advantage of the lower pricing before those tariffs take effect, that could create a bit of a run on the bank, so to say. It could create an exuberant excitement for people such as yourself that might be watching this video going, hey, I've been kicking myself for not doing this sooner, or dragging my feet, kind of kicking the can down the road. But now, right now, I definitely want to do something about this solar. If there's en masse a whole bunch of other folks that feel the same way, all of a sudden I think you're going to see a spike in demand, and you may see some adjusted pricing to go along with that. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, the good news, or not so great news, however you want to look at it, good news for us in the solar business is our industry isn't going to go away, and these pricing changes isn't going to invalidate the need or desire to benefit from solar. It's just not. But having said that, utility growth is still on pace to be significantly higher in the years to come, especially in California. So let me remind you, California wants to be carbon neutral by 2040. Governor Newsom wants everyone driving electric vehicles by 2035. The California Air Resources Board wants everyone having a natural gas hot water heater and furnace that's electric. So California has these very green, aggressive energy goals of eliminating as much carbon into the atmosphere as possible. They want to be carbon neutral, right? And so a lot of these laws and a lot of these mandates, executive orders, mandates, California Air Resources Board, et cetera, are in an attempt to move into that vein of carbon neutrality. Now, the utilities are spending a ton of money to try to get ready for what is coming, the energy demand that is coming. So in California, about 31% of the energy we consume in the state doesn't even come from within our own state borders. We consume so much energy in California, we can't produce enough ourselves. We've got to bring it in from other parts of the country. So 2 other states and actually 2 other countries help to contribute to our energy needs here in California. So this is just to say, energy prices are going to continue to go up in California. The utilities are spending a massive amount of money, primarily because you may not know that utilities get guaranteed, especially the publicly traded for-profit utilities in California. So that would be PG&E, San Diego Gas and Electric, and Edison. Those 3, Southern California Edison, San Diego Gas and Electric, and PG&E, are all for-profit utility companies. They're guaranteed a certain amount of return on infrastructure investments they made. And for example, with PG&E, the largest bully in California, they get over 10%, 10.4, 10.5% for every dollar they spend. They go out and spend $1 billion on wildfire mitigation. They're guaranteed profitability of $100 billion. I mean, I would love to be in a business that had guaranteed profitability like that. So this is just to say, even with these modest pricing increases that we're seeing right now that could take effect because of the tariff policy of the Trump administration, we do expect utilities to significantly outpace that price increase. Demand is going to be outrageous moving forward. So just keep that in mind. Now would be the time to explore solar if you haven't done so already. Now, many of you out there may be making a quick decision now, recognizing that this is a very narrow window where we know certain things are going to be certain, right? Number one, solar componentry is going to get more expensive. So what you would need to do right now is reach out to an appropriate installer, somebody that does solar work in your local community, or by all means, we're applying for that job for you. We're a solar brokerage house that has 11 different installers that we work with throughout California. And our brokerage model saves you on pricing, gives you some advocacy, and we have real world experience working with many of these installers. We'll get you 3 to 5 quotes on a system if you want to move forward. But now you want to number one, understand your current present usage annually. How much energy are you consuming today? Do you anticipate consuming more energy with time? Do you want to have more energy to be able to get at a cheaper rate than you're presently getting from the utility? And if so, that now we're starting to narrow in the size and scope of the system, and then endeavor to get some quotes and get them sooner rather than later. Because here's the one thing that a lot of people don't tell you. If you reach out to a solar installation company or a solar brokerage company like our own, and you get a quote, most of those quotes are going to be price protected for a certain length of time. Commonly, that's 2 weeks. I've seen some at 3 and 4 weeks, though. But that price protection is going to be key because it's going to give you a window of analysis. It's going to give you a little bit of time to think through the decision. But it's going to take effect now to guarantee the price that an installer has right now today, not what they're going to have a month from now, 2 months from now, once the real effect of these tariffs start to take hold. But right now, you can guarantee that pricing and give yourself a little bit of a decision window here to make a more informed decision. Now, following up on that, I wanted to make this point too. Solar right now, even with these tariff moves, okay, I'm expecting personally, depending on where the panels and the componentry come from, I'm expecting at least a 10% increase in costs of goods and services for solar installation. Could be as much as 25%, depending on where the panels are manufactured, where you're sourcing those panels, or whoever the installer is, where they're sourcing the panels, and the other componentry of the system, inverters and battery, string or micro, and then what type of battery are you going to get. I do expect this effect to be somewhere in the 10 to 25% range. Now, having said that, that is going to be most felt by people that are interested in paying cash for solar, because you are paying cash for the system. You got to write a check for it. These pricing increases are going to affect you the most. People that finance, it's still going to have an effect, but it's a delayed effect over a 20, 25-year period of time. And the least effect, I would say, that I expect the tariffs to have are on what we call power purchase programs right now. A power purchase program is where a TPO, a third-party owner, somebody that's not you and somebody that's not the utility, so not PG&E, not San Diego Gas and Electric, and not Southern California Edison, but another company is going to own the solar system. They're going to install it at your property and do so at zero out-of-pocket cost to you directly, as long as you agree to purchase the energy that system produces. Well, they have the cost of the burden of the installation, okay? Or stated differently, they have the burden of the installation cost, I guess is a better way to say it. So, if a company, a third-party ownership company, if their cost of goods or cost of doing business goes up 10%, it's a much more muted effect on the overall cost that you would pay for the energy that you're going to buy. It's fractional pennies, I guess is what I would say. So that's probably the area where you have the longest amount of time to potentially, make a decision. It would be the power purchase programs. But you cash buyers out there, if you want to write a check, if you've been waiting, I think that now is the time to explore this. Get a price protected proposal in your hands. Give yourself at least 2, 3, 4 weeks to make that decision if you need it. But I do expect that pricing is going to increase in the very near future. My real expectation with most of our installers is we're going to see that pricing increase on those solar componentry probably in the next 3 to 5 weeks. That's what I'm anticipating, and that's what I'm preparing for, and that's what I'm alluding to on our radio program, and that's also what I'm sharing right here on the Greybeard Talks Solar YouTube channel. Again, smash that subscribe button if you want more thoughtful and wise information on solar going on right now. So let me leave you with this last thought. Solar is always going to be cheaper than the utility. Solar, even with a 10 to 20% pricing increase because of the tariff policy of the Trump administration, is still going to be way cheaper than the utility. The most expensive energy available right now to California homeowners is whatever you get from PG&E, San Diego Gas and Electric, or Southern California Edison. Those three utilities, and specifically the worst one is PG&E, the most expensive utility right now in the contiguous United States. Okay, so that utility is going to continue to step on the gas of raising rates. They're going to continue to charge you more for the electricity you use. They're going to continue to try to force you into a position where they want you to live more like the Amish folks do without electricity. I talk to homeowners every single day that are moderating their usage because of cost concerns. They're living below their ideal comfort level because they don't want to get a monster utility bill at the end of the month. Solar is always going to be cheaper than that. Solar is like going back in time 10, 15 years and being able to lock in utility rates from 10 years ago and buy that energy at a much slower growth. Now, one thing to note, because utilities are expected to increase substantially because of California's green energy goals, we do expect most utilities, including PG&E, Southern California Edison has risen in cost 81% in the last 10 years. San Diego Gas and Electric rose 91% in cost in the last 10 years, and Pacific Gas and Electric, PG&E, rose 112% in cost in the last 10 years. The one thing I do like about the power purchase programs that I mentioned earlier, that you have a little bit more of a breathing room on right now, that are going to have less of a direct effect of these tariff pricing increases. The one thing I do like is they have contractually capped maximum rates of growth. So just keep that in mind. They can never go up more than 2.9, 3, 3.5, 3.9%, somewhere in that range. Every company is a little different in terms of the pricing and the escalation. But here, let me leave you this one last thought, okay? Right now is the time to explore solar. If you expect the pricing to increase, it's never going to be cheaper than it is right now. I think that this is the cheapest that you'll see it moving forward, and time is of the essence. So one more time, if you'd like to have us help you explore this, help you to vet this, help you to figure out how big of a system you need, how much energy you might need, and then get you some price protected proposals, all you got to do is text one word, YouTube, to 84503. Again, text YouTube to 84503. And my team will be in touch very quickly to see if we can't help you to sort this out. So thank you once again for watching the Greybeard Talks Solar YouTube channel, where a little wisdom goes a long way toward helping you turn sunshine into some serious savings for you and your family. And one last time, don't forget to smash the like, share, and subscribe. And I'll leave you with this. Stay charged, stay informed, and keep shining, my friends. We'll see you again next week.
Thanks for listening to SolarWise, Greybeard Talks Solar. Please visit our website, solarwiseco.com, to learn more. And we will see you next time on SolarWise.